Excellent. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Special Committee on Veteran Services. We have myself and a community member. Right now, we're down to 2 people. Laura, if it's okay with you, I'm going to attempt to recruit. We may need to take a vote at the meeting to add members.
That's fine.
But I think I have a couple of members who may be interested. All right, so 1905.
Wait, but you know what, Sergio? If you do, why don't you just speak to them, ask them if they want to be,
Yes.
and then we could vote on admitting them afterwards. I would do it in 2 steps. I would get their
Yeah,
names.
no. I didn't mean draftees. I meant volunteers, like, people we'd spoken to.
Okay.
Who actually want to be on, just to avoid any issues. Okay, I think we have Herb, we have myself, we have Rob. So I think we all know everyone. I'm not certain that the council member's office was going to be on tonight, and I always leave a space for them, since our council member is the chairman of the Veterans Committee in the state. In the city council, rather. So he's got a very important position. And Julia Gomez just joined us. He's got a very important position in the council as relates to veterans. There was, as you may know, to give an update on the council activities, there was a bill passed expanding the definition of veterans to city service to include basically all members who have served, no matter what their discharge status. Most benefits are based on discharge status. The city benefits will no longer be based on discharge status. So that is, that's a key difference. There was the rationale behind it was that there was a history of people being put out for being LGBTQ. People being put out for issues having to do with race or mental illness, that it may not have been equitable the way that they were put out, and the denial of service may not be equitable for people who served under those circumstances. So that has been passed. That is, I think, from the Veterans Committee, his signature piece of legislation thus far. Any discussion on that?
If you get around speaking to veterans, what does it take to join the city group?
To be considered a veteran, you have to have actually basically been in the armed services, regardless of your discharge status.
Well, what I'm getting at is, if you join the VA, the Veterans Administration Medical Center, you need your discharge papers. Does it take anything identification-wise to join with the city? What does the city benefit consist of? Stuff like that, all the general materials.
Oh, you know what, Herb? I don't know what their verification process is. That's a question we will ask next week. Next meeting, rather. We'll make sure we have a representative of the City Department of Veterans Affairs, what the exact criteria is. I was going to say I'm sure, but I'm not. I stopped saying that about a government services. When you would think that they would have some system by which they verify service, a DD-214 or something, whether it's general discharge or less than honorable. That because now you can, with the less than honorable discharge, get city services even if you cannot get VA services. But I'm not sure, Herb, is the answer.
All right, I was just thinking, to in the manner of speaking, to advertise, to go around talking to veterans if they want to join. You need to give them some information.
You know what we can do, Herb, and what we will do is we'll get it out to the different. That's one of the things that our community board list is for. So we'll make sure that we email, including you, the links and the contact where people can, because, you know, you have links to other veterans and veterans groups.
All
So
right, very well.
that's exactly the purpose of us being together. We're veterans, city veteran benefits. Yeah, because they have a link in a portal now where like it's supposed to be one-stop shopping. Like you log in, you sign in, and the whole purpose of the City Department of Veterans Affairs is to try and coordinate all the different benefits that are available to veterans, you know, whether it's business, services, financing for loans or housing, what have you, that there's supposed to be one-stop shopping and an agency that can advocate for the veterans with all the other city agencies. So, you know, if there's a homeless veteran, you know, there are special benefits and special programs out there that they can reach out to DHS, Department of Homeless Services, and say, hey, this person's a veteran. Perhaps, you know, you can move him on a different track or something to that effect. But we will get back to you on that, Herb, very, very directly to you. I'll ask the office to get us the specific criteria and the sign-in for that.
If
Now,
you don't mind,
Yes.
these days, because of the COVID, you go to the VA Medical Center, and it's a very quiet place. It has become very restricted to certain veterans coming in, I think, strictly for examinations or tests or whatever medical reason they may have. But otherwise, they're not coming in like they used to actually gather, such as a place like the lunchroom, and hang out for the day. It doesn't exist anymore.
The lunchroom is closed.
Yes. Oh, not really closed. The sitting area is closed. The counter is open.
Right, the counter is open, but you know, what's the sitting area where the veterans used to congregate, you know, and eat their SOS. You remember what SOS is, Herb?
Sorry?
Do you remember what SOS is?
I said I haven't used that in a long time.
For those who don't know, SOS is a form of cream chip beef that was very common in military cuisine, and they used to call it S blank on a shingle, the S word on a shingle, so it was called SOS. And the VA cafeteria serves it, I think, for just for nostalgia purposes, but people eat it for nostalgia purposes. So it's an interesting thing. But yes, we do have to also keep an eye on when such places open. There is almost diagonally across the street in our community board a veterans home, a veterans residence. Herb took me there for a meeting regarding Memorial Grove, and I believe once we start having these meetings in person, that's going to be one of the first places that we have a meeting at. I think it's a great resource for the community of people with a wealth of experience many of them are retired, who have a lot to offer and who live in our community. So that's certainly part of the plan with when we go back to actually having in-person meetings. So we will table number 3, number 4. Now, Memorial Grove, we are in discussions. I know Bob Bender couldn't be here today. He had planned on coming in. I know that he had a meeting with Herb, and we've had conversations about it. We're going to be coordinating who takes over. Hold on one second. We're going to be coordinating with the Van Cortlandt Park Alliance. They have well, when we were there, and we need to follow up. They've had some things going on, but when we were there, basically volunteered to fold the project, the yearly event, into one of their standing projects, which may be a really good place for it to be. They're coordinated with the park. Actually, the parks director is is also the executive director of the Alliance. So I think that's very hopeful. That's going to be our first meeting, and then our job will be to facilitate and support them.
On that subject, excuse me for jumping in, on that subject, the Bronx commander of the Parks Department, I forgot the title proper, she is very cooperative and very much in with the veterans. So it's a great source.
Laura, do you know if they change the Bronx commissioner? Iris? I forgot her last name.
Ginty, I think.
I've unmuted. No, it's still Iris. Rosa
Rodriguez?
Yes,
Rodriguez.
yes, for the Bronx, yes.
Yeah.
Rodriguez, the middle name is, the last name is Ginty.
Now, you're thinking of Rosemary?
You might be thinking of Rosemary, unless maybe they're Irish twins. But yes, she has been a friend, and you know, to the veterans and to Memorial Grove. So I think between the Parks Department and the Van Cortlandt Park Alliance, it's a really good place because they've got a staff, they've got an organization, they've got the connection to the park. They can actually go get the chairs and have them put out. So having them as the lead entity might be a home run with us, the community board, supporting them and making sure that the veterans groups and all the other partners are involved. I think that's a good role for the community board and for this committee. Go ahead, Laura.
Sergio, if I may, I think that a big part of the program, the reason it was always so successful, is that they had the guests. I started to list at the last service. We had the Jewish war veterans. We had the Color Guard, of course, from Manhattan College, Boy Scouts, New York City Department of Veterans Services. We had the rabbi, the cantor. We didn't have Lloyd Olton this year, but you know, generally he's, you know, I think a big piece of this is who reaches out to who to complete that whole program. And I didn't even copy down everybody. I was just saying, I better start listing this. And Herb, you better start giving us phone numbers here. But you know, who's doing what and who's inviting and, you know, making up the agenda. I think that's a big job that takes advanced planning.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much in the paperwork that Sergio has.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes, Herb did a turnover, and we're gonna have a lunch, and that's the plan, that we're gonna sit with the Alliance, have the agenda drawn up, have invitations ready to be emailed to all the to the invited guests, to the speakers, and also to our list of invited guests, as well as the Color Guard, et cetera, you know, going through their process, because they all have some sort of process. But yes, Laura, you're absolutely right. And that's one of the things that Bob and I were talking about.
Mm.
And that's one of the things that Bob and I are going to exactly sit down about. And we, you know, hopefully by close of February, we will have a tentative date, and we will have it ready to send, at least to save the dates. I believe in planning months and months in advance.
And you know, the more you plan, it looks effortless the day of, you know?
Yeah, and it's something we know when it's going to happen. So it's the Sunday after Veterans Day every year. So we know when Veterans Day is. We know when the event that, you know, that's when scheduled is going to happen. So yeah, I believe in when you know, we have enough things that happen, you know, on the spur of the moment because something happened, or somebody started digging a hole somewhere they shouldn't have in the community board or whatever, that when we do have the luxury of planning, we should do so. So 100%, Laura. And we'll rely heavily upon you to have all your big honcho friends show up.
Will do.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Memorial Grove? That's going to be our big thing for coming up for the year. And Herb, we'll get that out. I'm going to make sure that you're in on the approval of the invitations and the agenda for it. Hopefully we can still get the Cantor. He's great. So, everybody's great, but I don't know. I just like a good Cantor. I'm sorry. Okay.
The chaplain from the VA that spoke at this last couple of memorials, he actually retired, and I don't know who's taken his place, although there are several chaplains in the building. They come on different days, different hours. So I'll try to find out if they're electing or appointing another head chaplain. We'll let you know if we find out.
Okay. At my parish over here, Our Lady of Angels, the new pastor is an associate chaplain at the VA. His father is a military guy, so we also have a connection there. So yes, we're going to organize that and see who's who and see who's where. All right. Any old business? Any new business? Seeing no hands, I thank everybody for coming in. We will follow up in writing, and we will let everybody know when our next meeting is well in advance.
Great.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Herb. Thank you,
Hey,
Julie.
thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
And Rob, thank you for your 100% attendance.
Hey.
I think Laura lost a gold star 2 months ago.
Yeah, I try harder. I'm number 2,
Yeah, we're showing our age with that commercial.
Yeah.
Everybody
guys.
stay healthy. Stay well.
healthy, Laura. That's great to see you guys, Rob and Laura. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Take
night,
care.
night.
Thank you.